All right, guys, happy September. It is September 1st, and I am going to give you guys an update on what is going on in my little workshop here. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing pretty well. It's been a pretty busy week already, but definitely looking forward to the holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend. Taking Friday off, going to play some golf. Monday's a holiday, so it's going to be a nice weekend of some R&R. So looking forward to it. As you can see, I'm working a few different customs. I am at the sealing stage for this number 42 Kyle Larson Crest Pro Health car. This is for Mr. Michael. He actually sent me a few decals that he wanted. I guess this is a few months ago, but I'm working with this one, and it's a full wrap car, as you can see. I just painted it black, put some sealer on it, and then threw the decals on it. And I mean, this car, it's a challenge, and I've said this before with full wrap cars. This is kind of a half wrap car, but it's a challenge, you know, trying to get the roof right, the hood, the sides, all this, you know, the tri-state area here is always fun. But on these little older, I think these are like 2014, 2013, 2014, 2015 time frame, the decal set, especially for this side, is a little big. So you have to cut and fold here on this front, and then on the back here, this kind of folds over just a little bit onto the rear bumper area. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. I will say, if Michael, if you're watching, the decal set was a little fragile, and I say that because it showed up where I had some rips in some places, and it's going to be a little hard to mask some of them. And I don't even know if you can see this, but right along here, actually right here, it ripped. I've tried to squeeze it together, but there was a little rip here, and then there's a little rip here. You can see that down here, and just, you know, as I was placing them on there, you know, the decal just a little fragile, a little delicate, and it ripped in a few places. I don't think I had any rips anywhere else. You know, it had to rip right on the front. You know, that always stinks. But, you know, all in all, I'm pretty happy with how this car is turning out. And, yeah. You know, sure, I'd love for this, you know, Coca-Cola to be actually back here and centered. But, you know, it is what it is. One of the tricks, and I don't think I've showed this in a while, one of the tricks that I've done with a full wrap car like this is the roof decal is a little bit bigger than what actually goes between these, you know, between the roof lines. So what I do is I cut it, but I save the little edges, and I place the edges on the other side of the roof line, and inevitably it provides a little bit of coverage right here. So maybe this is hard to explain. And here, so this side decal is one big piece, right? And it kind of comes up, it's all curved, and you can see it's got good coverage all the way along here, but then right when it gets to this front, it comes down, and there's inevitably a little bit of the background color that shows through here. This would be black, but since I took this the little scraps from the sides that I trimmed this, I laid them in here first, and that way it's all covered, and you can see it's blue here leading up to there. And it's just a little thing. It's just a little thing, but I think it helps the car look better at the end of the day. So, but yeah, I've got a coat of sealer on it, and I've got to touch up a little bit on the bottom. But this car will be ready to go, Michael. I know you've got a few others that you want me to do for you, and I'll be working those. This car is done. Well, I've got one last coat. I'm going to put the Tester's top coat, gloss coat on it, and it's done. I was really stoked how this roof turned out. So if you can see, maybe you can't, but I pieced another decal set. So like you wanted, Joey. So the other decal set has this decal and, you know, all of them, right? So what I did was I trimmed this area of the decal out, because that's the widest area without any other, you know, lettering or design or whatever. And I trimmed it so that it would match up along here. And then, you know, my biggest problem, right, is trying to hide that seam right there. And if you can look closely, you can see the seam. See that right there? Right along here. But there, it's almost impossible to see the seam. I mean, it's off just a little tiny bit, but it's really hard to see there. So right there, you can't tell. When you get really close, you can see the seam. So I was pretty happy with how that turned out, and it just makes the roof, you know, it obviously it still comes up short here and a little bit on the front, but at the end of the day, it looks pretty good, and I'm happy with it. I hope you're happy with it, Joey. I went back and did a little touch up here with the black and the red, like I said, and then here and here. Now, how I did that, and this is just a little trick, okay? I'm recapping what I did as opposed to showing you, but I'm sorry. But so what I did is I took just a blank decal paper, and I got some red paint, you know, for my paint pen, and I just painted it, right? Let it dry, nice and smooth, and then I trimmed it so that it would be at, you know, at an angle, and then I, you know, wet it and laid that on there. So if you can see, that's actually just red paint over a decal that I cut and trimmed and put in place there, so it could carry this red line all the way up, and this area is not white, but it's actually, you know, red. And I did the same on this side right here, and so this is actually a water slide decal that's been painted red and you know, trimmed and cut, so it looks like that. It's a lot easier to do it that way than to try to get my, you know, my red paint pen and to get a little red paint in there, you know, because inevitably you're going to get it on the window, you're going to get it anywhere. So just a little trick, you know, for those of you that are trying to make your own customs. You can get some of this empty space, you know, decal paper, paint it what you need, cut it to size, cut it to the right angle, and use it. So cool stuff. I enjoyed doing that, and happy with how that looks. Alright, so here is my first attempt at this Matt Kenseth Bristol McDelivery car with, actually this goes on this side, right? With, you know, that had the racing numbers towards the back. As you could see, I mean, it just doesn't line up very well. So, so I'm gonna have to trim that, especially the white along the top here. I mean, just not even close, because all of that's going up on the window. So I'm gonna have to look at the pictures again and figure out if I want to trim along the bottom, right, and have it, you know, come down a little bit. That's probably what I'm gonna do. But yeah, it's just the sizing of the decals from Mr. Pato were not the best. Getting this across the front is always a challenge, this decal. I got a little ribble here. It's not too bad. Hard for it to show up on the camera. The lighting is kind of overshadowing it. But I got some trimming to do of the extra that overflows, but I got it pretty much smooth across the front and on this side, and then I'll get this all cleaned up here. The stuff on the back, so I pretty much have all that stuff done except the sides. One disappointing thing, well, actually two, but one's major. Well, major. Maybe they're both minor. Depends on who you are, right? But as a Matt Kenseth fan, looking at the pictures, this 42 on the roof is actually white. It's not yellow. So, and I looked. I don't have any white 42s, so I'm just going to have to build it as is. But it's just a little disappointing for those of you guys who do the designs and are trying to match the car driven on the track. Sometimes those things are overlooked, because most of his McDelivery and McDonald's cars all have a yellow 42 on the roof, but when you really look at the pictures of what was driven on the track, it's white, like his Credit One scheme. So just something that's less than perfect, right? The other thing that's not perfect is his signature is actually black, not yellow. So the decal set comes with a yellow signature, but on the track it was black. So, those are some of the things I notice. I don't always notice them, but those are some of the things I notice and look for, and so it'll be a little bit less than perfect. Okay, I have a few other customs I'm going to be working here pretty soon. These are the other cars I need to decal, and then I've got this number 66 Trump 2020 for Joey. Here's Mr. Travis. Here's your number 18 that needs to be done. Terry, got a couple cars for you, Blaney cars. I'll make another of the Tarket car here, and I've got a 2000 black vising that I want to do with this Jeff Gordon car. So we'll see. I might do something crazy with this one. Not 100% sure exactly what I'm going to end up with that. Okay. All right, guys, you've been waiting for this, and it's been a while, but I am now going to start taking requests for new customs. And this is kind of how I think I'm going to do it. Obviously, I reserve the right to change it, but this is kind of what I'm looking at. So, I am going to, each person, when you send your requests, I'm just taking one or two at the most at a time. So I know a lot of people have 4 or 5 more customs that they want done, but to try to get everybody in and get their customs requests done is in an orderly fashion and quicker, I'm just going to limit it to 1 or 2 requests at a time. It's going to be $30 per request, payable when I order the decals. That's also different. So I will email you, and we will correspond via email, and I'll let you know when I'm getting ready to order, and then you can send me the money, or we can do a PayPal, or I'm also looking at my bank account is Zelle, so that's another avenue. But that's I'm gonna try it this way. That way I know for sure that somebody makes a request, they're gonna it's paid for, then I'll make the car. Obviously only doing it via email, and you guys know my email address. So any special requests, like if you're gonna give me the donor car, or you're gonna provide the decals, anything like that, I'm just gonna handle that on a case-by-case basis. I'll be honest with you guys, I enjoy building the customs from the ground up and to the end. So if you're looking at something special, it's probably not going to be a priority on my side. So that's just kind of FYI. Obviously, you know, if you're providing a donor or the decals, it's not going to be the $30. It'll be less. But I haven't quite figured that out yet. And like I said, just case by case basis. And then the last thing, you know, and I've always gone by this. I know some of you want requests done by a certain date, but I can't guarantee it. You know, life is crazy. I've been spending a lot more time with my day job as opposed to this hobby, unfortunately. But that's just the way it is, right? My day job pays the bills, and I have to prioritize that. That is what I have as far as opening up for requests. I'm also thinking that when I get to maybe like, you know, 30, 40 requests, I may, you know, cut it off again before I, you know, open it back up to, you know, more requests. So let's say, for example, you know, Johnny wants, you know, 2 cars done. Before I take requests from Johnny again, I want to make sure I've got all the requests submitted, and then I'll go from there. So anyways, that's kind of what I'm shooting for, guys. Hope that works out for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and you can either post the questions here in the video or you can shoot me an email. I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. I expect a lot of emails, but that's kind of where I'm at. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a blessed day, and we will talk to you soon. I am out here.